Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm.
Hello, welcome to the video. It has been a very long time coming. I started editing, or not editing, but my read through. If you didn't know, the way I work, I write the very first draft of a book, and then I usually try to let it sit close to a month or as long as my timeline will allow. And then I do what I call a read through, where I try to read the book and make notes in as short a time frame as I can to try and mimic what a reader would experience. So that's what I currently am doing. That's where I am in the process with Curse of Wings and Darkness. And if you follow the vlogs, you know I started this process a couple of weeks ago, and then I stopped because I got busy, life got busy, things at work got really messy. I'm in a new era in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to balance and juggle a lot, and that required me putting aside a couple things so that I could get my head on straight, essentially. And so I did that, and now we are back to the read through. I'm also in a new location. Hello, I am currently sitting in a hotel. Alex and I we're going to a wedding this weekend. He's in the wedding. He's the best man. And he is currently out at the currently at the rehearsal dinner. I decided that I was going to stay back because there are things I needed to get done, especially this read through. So I am back at the hotel taking time for myself, which is something I haven't had in a while. And a part of that is me sitting down and picking back up where I left off with the read through. Let's talk a little bit about where I left off. The last time I really talked about this, I had read up to chapter 6. Not a lot to report, except that I am really pleased with this book. I'm already getting all of the feels. I am noticing that I'm actually upping a little bit of the spice as I get to the spicy stuff in this draft. And I already anticipate this book getting a tad longer because I think that there are places where I need to add at least a chapter, if not just a few scenes. So this will probably get longer. Right now, this book, I just looked, it is 316 words, something along those lines. So a 90,000 something word draft I have here. And chapter 6 is where I think a lot of things start to pick up, a lot of the relationship starts to move, and a lot of the drama. So I am really excited to sit down and read again. And I will definitely try to keep you guys up to date more. I did want to showcase a really cool website that I am using to help keep and track my progress because I'm so busy with things right now and juggling so many things that I want to streamline a lot of my work. So I'm going to show you guys that right now. This is the Pacemaker Planner from pacemakerplanner.press. It is basically a site where you can track your progress. There are a lot of different ways you can do that. Like you could set word count, you could set pages. Like I have it set for pages since I'm doing my read through because that was easier to track than the number of words I'm reading. But you can set a lot of different goals. You see here, I am hoping to finish this by Tuesday at the very latest so that I can actually edit this video and get this up for you guys to see, follow along with all of my read through progress. That is my goal. I would really like this to go up next Wednesday. and I would really, I would love if I could finish reading this book this weekend. Normally, it only takes me a weekend to do my read-throughs, but this one is taking me longer just because there's so many other things in the works, and keeping me really busy. So I'm doing my best. I really am, guys. Trying to do everything, and my author life is the only place right now where I'm not feeling a ton of pressure and things are actually going well. Like, I can say that as far as my writing life goes right now, that is sadly the only place that I feel successful, which is kind of sad. I've had many a breakdown the last couple of weeks kind of about that because everything is so busy. Writing is not something that I'm getting to do super often like I would like to. And since it is the only place in my life that is, I'm turning on a light here, is and does feel really successful, that makes it it's not a very, it means that I'm not feeling that successful super often. So yes, enough. Let's get off this subject. That's kind of a sad thing. Aside from that, I do have a lot of really cool things planned coming up. I really want to get this read through done because as a part of that, I want to start editing because this month, what goes up on Patreon is chapter 1 of Curse of Wings and Darkness. And I can send it up right now the way it is because I think it's good. I don't even think I really made notes for chapter 1 at all for edits. So I could go ahead and just put up chapter 1, but I would kind of like to get around to editing before I send that up to Patreon. So we will see. If it goes up unedited by me, there will definitely be like a note when that goes up. So I will have to let all of you know. But I think I am going to sit down and go ahead and start reading, and I will try my best to update you guys with notes and things as I go. A bit of a detour was had. Went to order room service. The restaurant downstairs that I was ordering room service from does not actually do that. So I ended up just going down. It turned into a thing. I ended up sitting longer than I had planned, but now we are back in the room. It is 7:35, so I'm gonna get comfortable again. I read one chapter while I was up here. I am now at chapter 7, so I'm trying not to beat myself up too much because progress was made, and so I'm trying to just dwell on the fact that progress has been made and more will be made. So that's where I am going to leave that. So let's sit back down and try to get much more done because I really am liking this book. I'm really pleased with where it is, and I want to see how much further I can get with it. I am now up to chapter 8, and after chapter 7, I am remembering how and why this book is sexy. What really sets this book apart, I think, and what really makes this book what it is that so much of like the sexy moments are in the tension and in the small interactions. So things that are like not just sex. It's like the precursors. It's like a subtle way he touches her, and some of the small things that they say to each other. It's so steamy. Oh my gosh. And I completely forgot how well I've woven this, because even though I'm going through and doing a read through and I'm making notes and I'll go back through and I'll edit things, those moments in the book are so strong. Like I I haven't given myself any notes to change anything. I have actually given myself notes to like do more of that or insert similar thing right here because it's going to add so much to the plot and the story. And holy, I am starting to fully weave this story together. And I was feeling a little bit worried about it because I've been having such a hard time sitting down to work on this book, and I've been missing this. And in some ways, it's weird to explain, but I've been missing writing so much that sitting down to do it has been like, I'm missing it so much that I can't do it, because when I sit down, I know that I only have a limited time, and it ruins the getting started some days for me. So sitting down and actually getting into this book and realizing like, yes, I am getting somewhere, even one chapter at a time. This is good. And it will only get better. Even if I do it at a snail's pace, which I could do because it's not out until October. So I'm trying to give myself grace is what I'm doing. So I did just get updates from Alex. He's at the dinner, the rehearsal dinner. He said it will be like 9:15-ish or 9:45 before they're finished and he's heading over here. It is currently 8:37, so I am going to continue reading. I'm going to get through chapter 8, see how far we can get before he gets here, because I do want to spend some quality time, just the two of us, because we also haven't gotten a lot of that. So let's continue, and I will catch up with you guys in a moment. Hey, it's a Sunday night, and it's quite late, actually. You can't fully tell because Alex is actually out. Normally he is here, but tonight they are playing late. So, I have been using this time to work on my read through of Curse of Wings and Darkness. I am up to chapter 11 now, and I actually had to hit pause. I'm halfway into chapter 11, but I wanted to hit pause because I wanted to like get my thoughts on film a little bit. This is what happens to me a lot, which is why I wanted to film it. Especially when reading a series, I will read through, especially in book 1, the draft, and I will find pieces within the story that would make, like, when expanded upon, would make really interesting side plots or background knowledge or something to come back to in a future book. And I have encountered one of those now, and it adds a lot to the story. It supports the main plot. It also adds a lot of tension. And I just wanted to mention that that's how a lot of my brain works. I am a pantser, so I write, I'll get like the bare bones of a story figured out, and then I just write based on, I like let the story sing. I really just follow where the story takes me after I get started. And these are the things that happen when I allow myself to do that. I figure out better plot lines or more things to include in the overall story. Like I said, I plot out the basics, so I do have like the basics of this entire series formed. I know what the main conflicts are in each book, but it's these small relationship things, like with characters, side stories, that kind of stuff, that really come to life after I've written the book, because I come across things that would make for a really interesting plot, or I come up with ideas that would support something I've already written. So I don't know if that fully makes sense, but I don't know, maybe just because it's super late and I'm really tired, but I wanted to talk a little bit about that. But yes, let's go back to chapter 11, and when I think of any other things that are not so like scatterbrain, maybe we will come back to them. Oh my goodness. I have read up to chapter 15, and man, there are some really steamy moments, to say the least, in this book. And I knew that, but reading them all in context, like binge reading the book, hits very different. So, man, I'm gonna take a short break. I think I'm gonna like watch a YouTube video, I don't know, or something, just to like take a minute. And because I did get kind of to a stopping point where I'm reading, and then I'm gonna come back to it and see how much more I can get done tonight before Alex gets home and before I kind of need to wrap up and go to bed. It is Thursday. I had planned on being done with my read through of Curse of Wings and Darkness yesterday. That did not happen. I stayed up quite a while. I was exhausted by the end of it, so I called it quits. My plan is to stay up later tonight, and then work on the last couple chapters, because I only have 4 more, and that includes the final chapter, which is from Angel's point of view. So the plan is to finish it tonight. So it is just Finn and I for now, and I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of writing done right now. We will see. Last night, part of why I gave up was because Finn wanted to play, so we went and played, and by the time we did that, I got Finn in bed, and I like sat down for just a moment. I was exhausted, which has just been the way things have been. So hopefully I will be able to sit down and finish more work tonight, and yeah, get lots of things done. Alrighty, I'm sitting in the living room. Honestly, I needed to I was so overstimulated that it was driving me insane. So I had to go move into a different room where it's quieter, where I can set my own mood with music and sit down to read. So I've started a little bit. I thought I would hit pause just long enough to update you guys that I am working now. I am on chapter 25. I have 25, 26, 27, and Angel's point of view. I can already see where I need to think on some things and maybe go in to do some of my editing. I will say the fact that I haven't been able to binge read this book like I typically do, I think is working a little bit against me, just because usually I'm able to really mull over how certain pieces of the story and what I want to add and the little details that wound themselves through the whole story, or wind themselves through the whole story. It's a lot harder to think over those things over the course of time than it is when I can read a book much quicker. So I am trying not to be really disappointed with how things have fallen, and try to be happy that I'm just finally getting to the end of this book. I do feel like when I go back through and do my edits, I feel like I'm going to have to be really intentional with setting my time aside. I also think that I'm going to have to go through the entire book, like skim the whole thing a little bit. I do a little of that anyway when I make my edits, but I feel like I'm going to have to take a little bit of a different approach than I typically do with editing this book, just so that I can get the clearest picture, and fill in the gaps, fill in what I feel like I'm missing, so to speak. So I'm going to try to get through this chapter. I think there's a chapter break in here, and so at least get to that chapter break, because I still need to put Finn down for bed. Alex could be back at any moment, and I also need to get ready for bed. And my goal is 100%, because I think I may go crazy if I don't finish this book tonight. So even though I am a little tired, and yeah, it may make me tired tomorrow, my plan is to finish this book tonight, Thursday, and I can just deal with being a little tired tomorrow. I do have an event tomorrow that I have to chaperone, so it might make that a little uncomfortable, being really tired if I am really tired. So for the sake of time, I'm going to leave you guys here, and I'm going to get back to working, and we will see what I'm able to accomplish in the meantime.
Lights are shining bright. My friends are in the club, we'll go all night. I see you in the back, the mood is right. If I just had your number, I would let you know how I feel. You walk up to me, start dancing to the music and the chase. Like this was...
I just finished the whole book. Oh, I feel so good. I'm really happy with how this book's turned out. I'm talking a little bit quiet because it's late and everyone has gone to bed. So because it is late, I'm going to save my final thoughts for maybe tomorrow. I'll film kind of a follow-up for you guys, and I'll film the outro for this video also. But yes, I finished it, all 27, 28-ish chapters, and it is in a lot better shape than I thought. This is actually in really good shape. I'm very pleased with how it has turned out, and I am very excited to move into the editing phase, see what I can tighten up, and what I need to do from there. So good night, and we will check in with my final thoughts in a moment. Hello, it is hot. I just got off work, and I wanted to update you guys because I was so tired last night that I didn't film the outro for this video. So needless to say, because I have already told you guys, I finished my read through of Curse of Wings and Darkness. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to edit this book. I love it. There are a lot of things I need to mull over, lots of little details I want to think on that will carry into the rest of the series that I want to make sure I consider, things I may even expand on in order to make the most out of little details in the series. So I still have a lot of work ahead of me, but I am super, super excited about it, and I cannot wait to continue with this book in the series. So my gosh, it felt so good just to sit down and read. I haven't been doing a lot of that, like self-care, doing in at least this week. So it felt really good just to sit and work on that book. So I think what I need to do, because even though I stayed up a little later, I actually do not feel as tired as I thought I would today. And I really think it's because it's not a mentally draining task for me, writing. It invigorates me. It makes me feel good. And really, even though I have to stay up a little later to do it, it feels better in the long run to have done that and taken that time for myself. So I think I'm going to revamp my writing routine moving forward into March and make sure to include more of that writing time like I was in the fall, and just move some other things around. Since this semester I have more classes than in the fall towards my LPC certifications to be a therapist, I think I'm just going to move a few other things around to make space for it, because it is important. It's very important to me to be writing. So that is what I think I will do moving forward with the editing process for this book. So that's where we are with this project. I don't know when this video will go live because Finn has a birthday party tomorrow, and I don't want to really work a lot at all tomorrow, especially during that time. So I may get home, edit this video really quick, and put it up. It's Friday right now, and maybe not. Maybe it'll go up Sunday before the vlog does. I don't know, but it will go up this weekend. So thank you guys so much for following my progress. Thank you for your kind remarks on Instagram as I struggled to get like the time I needed to read through this book this time around. Thank you guys so much. You've been so nice. I love you all. And I cannot wait to take you guys along on my journey because this book's going to be really fun. Oh my gosh. It's a new era. I keep saying that. It's a new era. This is a much more grown-up book. It is a new adult, spicy vampire romance, and I think you guys are going to love it. So, thank you so much. Check out the description box below for all my social media handles. Check it out. I've grown a lot in my platforms. I would love to have you along, hear from you, and see all your thoughts. So, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
Oh my